There's a guy that described him perfectly. He was a high school dropout, an award-winning athlete, a petty thief, a motorcycle racer, a political activist. But damn it, he's one of the most unique heroes to earn a place in the collective psyche of this country. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome to the Freak Nation, Evel Knievel. Evel, are you there, buddy?
Yeah, I am, and if I lose you, my phone might drop a call. You call me back.
You bet, partner. Evel, today is my mother's birthday, and
Happy birthday, Mother.
There you go. She was the one. I owe this entire Speed Freaks motorsports empire to my mom and my dad. My dad was the guy that took me out to see the Daredevil shows and the motocross and the drags and so forth, but it was Mom that took me to see you at the Dallas Convention Center back in, I believe, in 1971 or 72.
In Dallas?
Dallas Convention Center.
Yeah, I jumped there. The floor, I remember the floor. It was slick as snot. Come in.
Tell me I wasn't drunk as a 10-year-old. You went by on us at the time. It was like a three-wheeler with a jet rocket on it. At the time, that was going to be the Snake River motorcycle. Is that true?
Well, that's about all I had to work with at the time until I found a real engineer, this Bob Truex. He built me a rocket that would try and get across there. No wings on it, just a three-wheel rocket that I'd take off on. But that was a jet bike. Yeah, I rode it in that Dallas Coliseum. I remember that.
What was the attraction to Evel with all the moms?
I never have figured that out. I know one thing. Aphrodisiac. There's no aphrodisiac in the world like danger to women. That's just all there is to it.
Mr. Knievel, can I call you Evel? This is Lugner.
Yeah, call me anything you want.
I'm never nervous. I'm a little bit nervous right now. Really, I'm not nervous, but I had to ask anyway because I want to be polite. Because I heard Michael Jordan is like the Evel Knievel of the NBA. The hell with that other stuff.
Michael Jordan's got the spirit. You know, there are people in life that have the spirit. I hadn't had the spirit since about 1980 because I've been kind of shell-shocked for all them trucks and buses I hit on that motorcycle.
Listen, buddy, these new guys that are out there, they would never have even thought about doing any of that crap if it weren't for you. Do you think they're giving you enough of the respect as, like, the godfather of the greatest freaking, thrill show on the planet?
Well, I think that a younger person wanting to do what they saw somebody do is the greatest compliment in the world. They could pay the older person. I consider it quite a compliment. I think my son Robbie is probably one of the best the best motorcycle performer in the world. You ever remember a kid named Jim Pomeroy that raced motocross?
Big time.
He was the first American that ever won a Grand Prix in Europe. Yeah, well, guess who taught him how to ride a motorcycle? I did.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
John, you're on with Evel Knievel and the Speed Freaks. Go ahead, John.
Hey, Mr. Knievel. Remember me?
Hello there. John who?
John Hood in the bottom of the canyon.
Hey, John boy, how are you?
1975.
Wow.
Yeah, 1974, John.
Oh, I missed it by a year, but I'm old.
Well, you never were too sharp, John. How the hell are you doing?
I'm retired, living in California, where you left me.
One of you two have to explain what's going on here. Who picked who up off of? John says it was a canyon, and you said it was a floor in London.
Well, John worked for me for quite some time. He's a very nice guy. We became friends. I met him in New Jersey, and he's a very nice guy. He helped drive my equipment, and we had some great times together. And he came out to the canyon jump, but there was so much commotion going out there with all those people, and that rocket shot across that thing, went in the bottom. We all went back to the motel and had a press conference and everything, left poor John down there in the bottom of the canyon.
Oh. Hey, Evel, I've got a book in my hands written by Ace Collins.
Yes.
Well, he was talking about in here about growing up in Butte. It was a tough town to grow up in. There were pimps and whores and gamblers, and you grew up kind of hanging around those guys. Is that true?
I worked there for, when I was 17, 18, a mile underneath the ground, the Kelly Shaft. I was a copper and gold and silver miner.
You a manhole.
What about all these pimps and whores and gamblers he was talking about?
They were all over the place there. There were 500 whores working a one square block, and my grandpa had a tire shop right in the middle of all of them.
But they had pimps and whores it wasn't in a big city like Detroit or New York?
125,000. We had a bigger Chinatown than Boston and San Francisco put together. Butte, Montana at one time was the greatest western town on the face of the earth.
This city is fat.
What happened?
Miners.
Oh, yeah.
Mine companies. They rape and strip and plunder land. They leave it lay. They take all the richness from it and just leave it.
You see, Evel, that's kind of how it is here in the Freak Nation. And I understand that you growing up as a kid, you actually grew up with your grandparents. Is that true?
Yeah, my mother and dad were divorced and kind of disappeared on me, but my grandma and grandpa raised me ever since I was about a year old. They were my mother and dad. They were my mammy and pappy. I know I drove them crazy, but they're watching over me. They're still watching over me.
Yeah, jumping over crap would drive him crazy. Where were you, like 2 when you first started jumping over things, or what?
No, I rode a little tricycle away from the house when I was about 5. It scared them to death. They didn't find me for about 3 hours.
Awesome.
Man, he's already.
Okay, baby, we're
How
diving
did you
in.
like the portrayal of you with George Hamilton in the movie?
I think he did a great job. I don't really care too much for George. I tried my best to help him. Had an attitude of being kind of a pussy or a reputation. But I did what I could for George. Sam Elliott did a great picture, and they're making a new one right now, Universal. It's a $70 million picture. It's about my canyon jump, and there's a great actor going to play it. He's a hell of a man. I know him personally. His name is Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Oh, ooh, and he's hot,
There's
too.
news right there.
Yeah.
He's going to play my part, and they're going to start produce that picture immediately.
In the movie, Evel, George Hamilton rode up into the sorority and knocked down the door with...
No, he didn't do that. I did it.
Okay.
Oh.
You actually did that? You rode in the sorority house and knocked down that door and the chick was in the tub?
That was my wife, Linda. I took her out. I was married to her for 38 years. She's the most wonderful gal in the world. She's the mother of my children. Hi there. This is the #1 badass in America, Evel Knievel. You are listening to the Bastard Children and the show, The Speed Freaks.
That's right. They can kiss our ass, right, Evel?
Exactly right.